shout out. Today's shir is going to be a thorough, not entirely thorough, but it's good working through certain ideas that we have been working with, but we're going to deepen them, expand them, solidify them by showing all the makoros, showing how they apply to Rosh Hashana. This is coming pretty much straight from a piece written by Rabbi Daniel Barron, who's Mrs. Barron's son, who comes here. She comes here often from Queens. He has been learning from Rav Moshe consistently for many, 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 many years. And he takes Rav Moshe's ideas, Rav Moshe Zechrono Livracha's ideas, and sometimes l'kavod Chag or l'kavod Simcha, he puts them together in his own essay. But this is essentially, the Torah of Rav Moshe that we're going to work with here. It's called Teruah Melech. Our subject today is the association between Teruah. What is Teruah? It's a certain sound that the shofar makes. Teruah, correct? Rosh Hashana actually is called Yom Teruah. And Teruah has as its shoresh Ra. And Ra is spelled exactly the same way as Reah. What is the association between Reah, a beloved friend, Ra, evil, we call evil, which we've talked about Ra here a lot, right? And Teruah. What?
Broken and we work together.
Broken and together. Let's go through what is the point of Rosh Hashana having as its center the shofar and the Teruah. So yes, broken and together. Let's work that out in many, 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 many details and applications and new insights. And we're going to see here something, what we're going to talk about today, which we've talked about in this class before, is something I don't think you hear from anyone, ever. I never heard it. No one I know ever heard it. I haven't seen it anywhere, not me, but people that, reading Sfarim of great people, no one talked like this. I think Rav Moshe was the first person to really, in our generation, I think to articulate this notion of what we always talk about, which is kavod. That Hashem actually set up a world where He made Himself need to receive our kavod and what that means. Okay? So let's start from the beginning. So look in your notes. Okay, now you'll have all your makoros with you. All right? The pasuk, there's a pasuk in Shmona Esrei of the Musaf Shmona Esrei of Rosh Hashana, and it comes from Bamidbar. So if you have the Ashkenaz Sfarim, the Ashkenaz Machzorim, okay, turn to page 456. It's right after Aleinu in the Musaf, and it's also in Chazaras HaShas, of course. It's in Chazaras HaShas on page 506. Okay, so the Aleinu. When you were young and you were saying Shemona Esrei, and then you got to Elaine and you were like, am I done? Did I miss the ending here? And then you realize, it's part of Shemona Esrei. Okay. So after Elaine, we say Al Kain Akav Hashem, and this tefillah of Al Kain is that the world should soon see the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's really what it's about. And then after we express that, on page 456, we show psukim from the Torah itself that express that thought that the world should entirely as a whole come to appreciate and be aware and connected to and enveloped in and participating in the kavod of Hashem. So the pasuk that is quoted is from Devarim, Perek 23, pasuk 1. Okay. My phone keeps... Okay. And the pasuk is, Lo hibir aven b'Yakov, v'lo ra amal b'Yisrael, Hashem elokav imo, utruas melech bo. Do you see the pasuk? So now what does this mean? What does this mean? Lo hibir aven b'Yakov. Hashem gazes, and by the way, this comes from Bilam. This is part of Bilam's speech. So Bilam is saying about Hashem, He gazes, He will not gaze at any iniquity in Yaakov. He won't see the bad. And no evil schemes in Israel. Okay, v'lo ra amal b'Yisrael. He's not looking at any schemes. Amal's amelis, when you put in work. He's not interested. He doesn't see the bad. He only sees the benefit. Why? Hashem Elokav imo, because God is with them, im, together with them. Utruas melech bo. Now, what does the word trua mean? And it's not that we use it to mean the broken blast of the shofar, but that's not the definition of trua. Eventually, that word was used to describe the broken blasts, but the pshat of the word is not the broken blast. That's the drush of the word. That's what Ramesh explains that. The pshat of the word is like what Rashi says. So look in the Rashi, which is in your notes. Rashi says what? Truas. What does Rashi say? Truas melechbo lashon chiba v'reyus. Trua comes from the word Reah, friend, Reus, Reah Mahuvim. So this means that it's the language of love and friendship, compatibility, and he quotes sources. Kamo, Reah David. In Shmuel Beis, it calls Yonasan Reah David, the friend. Ohev David, I mean he loved David. Okay? And then there's another pasuk in Shoftim, V'yitne lemar ehu, he gives it to his friends. V'kein targum onkelos. Now look what onkelos says. That's Rashi. Then he brings targum onkelos. Onkelos is not just a translation, it's a targum. It explains it. He says, Malchun beinehun. Now that's a little different than friendship. That's a little nuance. What does that mean? His presence is among them. It's not just friendship, it's companionship. It's love and friendship, but it's also being with them, being together with them. What is the word we call for Hashem's presence among us? The indwelling of Hashem, we call that the Shechina. By the way, is that Zachar or Nekeva? Okay, remember that. We'll get to why. Okay? Now, Rashbam, on Lohibit Aven B'Yakov. What does Rashbam say? He does not want to punish them, even when they commit sins in error. This is what it means in Eov. When he sees iniquity, he does not discern it. Lohibit Aven B'Yakov. He doesn't want to see it. He's blind. He's in denial. Utruas melech bo, from the word Reah, companion. As in Ishim Reim Lehisroah. They are friends to keep one company. Okay, so we have an established precedent here from Targum and from Rashi, Rashbam. Teruah comes from Reah, and Reah means love and friendship and companionship. Okay? Targum Yonasan. Okay, now, what about the Teruah itself? Targum Yonasan speaking about the Teruah. He's the Targum on the Chumash. Bilam the wicked said, I see not among them of the house of Yaakov such as worship idols. They who serve false idols are not established among the tribes of the son of Israel. Okay, now look at this. The word of the Lord their God is their help, and their trumpets of the King Mashiach resound among them. He's saying, Truas melech bo. What's he saying now Teruah means? Trumpets. The trumpets of Melech HaMashiach resound within Am Yisrael. So we're seeing here that Teruah now is being applied to trumpets. Sound, the shofar sound. It's going to be ultimately the shofar sound. Trumpets, okay? Now, we have a few things established. We have a few sources, and there are more sources. That Reah means friendship, love, companionship. That it also applies to the Melech Mashiach's trumpets among Am Yisrael, announcing the reunion, essentially, of Am Yisrael and Hashem, the world and Hashem. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is called, for us, Hashem is referred to as a Reah. God himself is referred to as a Reah, a loving companion. So, for example, anybody remember from Pirkei Avos? Okay, we'll get there. So, Hashem is referred to as a Reah. In fact, where's my Pirkei Avos? Should be here. Where's my Reah quote here? Okay, it's in the in Rosh Hashana. Look in your notes. In Rosh Hashana 32b, Malchus. We're talking about the davening of Rosh Hashana. Okay. The davening Rosh Hashana, you know it breaks up into three. The Musaf has three components. Yes. Malchios, Zichronos, Malchios, Zichronos, and Shofros. Okay. And the Malchios part is the part that has this quote about Teruah. Okay, that's in the Malchus part. So it's Malchus sheyesh imo Teruah, speaking about the Malchus of Hashem, and it has as part of it the concept of the Teruah, the mentioning of the Teruah. Okay, that is an application of this verse, Hashem Elokeinu imo utruas melech bo. Hashem Elokeinu, you're referring to Hashem as melech, and the Teruah is with him. Friendship, we said, and companionship, but also the shofar that we refer to as Teruah, that is always associated with Malchus Hashem. So Malchus sheyesh imo Teruah. The bracha of Malchus is the bracha that talks about, has this pasuk in it. Okay, and there's a machlokus, and we only insert it in Malchus. Now the peirush on here is Kol ha'osek b'Torah lishma. Okay, I'm sorry. This is Pirkei Avos. It doesn't have. This is Pirkei Avos. Not only is Hashem going to be referred to as a friend, Truas Hashem, Truas Melech Bo, Hashem is a Reah, the friendship of Hashem, the companionship of Hashem, the Shechina of Hashem, the Malchus of Hashem is identified with that Reos, with that companionship. More that a person who learns Torah is called a Reah. Kol ha'osek b'Torah l'shma. There's Pirkei Avos. Okay, Zochel l'dvarim harbe. There's Zochel for many things. Whoever learns Torah l'shma gets many benefits. V'lo od. Not only that, the whole world, the entire world is kadai for this person who learns Torah L'Shma. Nikra Reah, Ahuv, he's called a Reah, he's called Ahuv. So what you have here now is that a person who learns Torah, okay, a person who learns Torah is also a Reah. So Hashem is a Reah, a person who learns Hashem's Torah is a Reah. The relationship between people and Hashem, and clearly it's going to be expressed through the Teruah, is loving, companionship, relationship, presence, Shechina, indwelling. Okay? This is what all the sources have told us. Okay? So far so good. We know what Reah means. Love, friendship, companion. Okay, now, but it's spelled exactly the same way as Ra. Now, what does Ra mean? What did we learn here? It means unsteady, broken, Ra'ua. That's where Moshe always talked about this. So when we talk about the Yetzer Hara, before we get into the sources, the Yetzer Hara is not some little devil that's God's opponent or God's enemy, and there's not going to be one big Armageddon where God and the devil will have a showdown. We'll see who wins. Ein od milvado. There's nothing but Hashem. We don't have a devil. We don't have anything outside Hashem. What is the Yetzer Hara? The Yetzer Hara is your Koach HaYetzer. Remember this? Everybody is a creator. Everybody has tremendous energy. It's your mind, your thoughts, your imagination, your discipline, your efforts, your initiative, everything that goes into your being a creator, being individual. You take that Koach HaYetzer and you have two choices. You can either link it, marry it to, devote it to Tov, that which is true and permanent and good, which ultimately is going to be something that Hashem Shechina, Hashem's eternity, Hashem's Tov. Or you can take all that energy and devote it to a goal or a cause that's Ra. That means it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't work. It's like a chair with three legs. It's Ra'ua. You end up nowhere. First of all, everyone knows. There's either two options in the world. We talk about this all the time. Either we're part of Hashem's existence, in which case we're not alone. In which case Hashem is our provider. In which case that boss is not my provider. So if he doesn't give me a job, someone else will. And that doctor's not my provider. The refuah comes from Hashem. And that person who has a shidduch for my kid is not the provider. Shidduch will come somewhere else, etc., etc. Okay? You live in a world of that kind of emunah, and then you don't. It works. It works. You have an ayin tov. You're calm. You go about your business honestly. You don't feel threatened by everybody. You know you're here to make a Kiddush Hashem and help everyone else make Kiddush Hashem. You understand that Hashem gives us many chances, so we give other people many chances. You know that Hashem includes us, so we include other people. It works. And you get to a place that you're mahu afata, like what Hashem is you are. But if you think you're alone, and you forget completely that you're part of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, because it's kind of hard to remember sometimes, because it's not visible. That's why we always have to have, by the way, Shabbos. My daughter came back from seminary. She's back already for Shana Bet, Baruch Hashem. And every Shabbos she was reading Rabbi Pincus. Wait, which one? Pincus. Rabbi Pincus. Rabbi Shem right. So one Shabbos I learned it with her, and he said the most beautiful thing. And he didn't say it this way, the way we talk about it, but he said something that fits perfectly into what we said. So of course I had to tell her my whole spiel. But If Shabbos is a day, 25 hours, where we go back and remember and feel safe that we're completely part of Hashem, which is why on Shabbos, the 39 malachas, which break down into 3 categories: food, clothing, and shelter, and hotzah. But other than carrying, it's food, clothing, and shelter. Anyway, we don't even do that one anymore. But we all have an erev. But there's hotzah. But food, clothing, and shelter. Okay? But what are you not allowed to do on Shabbos? You are not allowed to be engaged in anything that is necessary, that you need to provide for yourself, your food, your clothing, your shelter. Why not? Because you don't need it. Shabbos, you're back in the womb. That's why on Shabbos, you could technically schlep your couch up and down the stairs 20 times. Okay? But if you strike one match to light a fire, to cook yourself water, you're machalal Shabbos. Because if you have to do something for your survival, you're not in the womb. You're not in the womb. You're on your own. You're in. No, this is. He added the idea that even one thing is, and he said it in a different way, very nicely, but this fits beautifully into our mahalach, and so we have to remember that. But if a person does remember that, and they feel alone, and everyone's a threat and competition, etc., then you kas and jealousy and depression and fear. And listen, does kas work? Does it work? What happens if a person is always a bal kas, always getting angry at everybody, always getting into arguments, taking offense at everything? What happens? Nobody wants to be around them. They don't even want to be around themselves. What about if someone's narcissist? No, what is a narcissist? Everything's about me. It's about me. I'm about myself. What about someone's jealous? It doesn't work. These things are raw. They just don't work. And anything we do that helps us forget, everything we do that helps us that encourages us to forget, or is a product of our forgetting that our identity is part of Hashem, that's Ra, because it's going to take us down paths that don't work. Okay? But the Ra, we said, is actually a very good teacher. Because if it doesn't work, we say this doesn't work. So people stop smoking, people lose weight, people get sober, because it doesn't work. So Ra works in that it doesn't work. Okay? It's a good teacher. But in any case, we
Could you repeat what Rabbi Pinky said?
I don't remember exactly what he said, but it fits so perfectly into this. He didn't do the fetus in the womb, but he said something about Shabbos, and even one little violation is an indication that the whole message is lost. I forgot exactly what he said because I shifted it so quickly into my thing. Now, we're about to get into Ra, that Ra means broken, correct? So now, look at your source, Koheles, all right? Koheles. We are learning Koheles by Rivka Fuchs, who just had her grandchild again, Baruch Hashem. Chaz Deshem. Okay. Wednesdays after Chag, after all the Chagim. Ra'iti et kol hamasim shenasu tachat hashemesh, v'inei hevel v'ra'ot ruach. Okay, we're not going to go into this pasuk, but he says, I see everything, it's all hevel, ra'ot ruach. What does Rashi say in ra'ot ruach? Ra'ot ruach, the breaking, shatter, ra'u, shatter. Okay? Shatter, okay? You see that? He says that it works, it means shatter. And there are many other places where Ra means shatter, through the Mishnah, Gemara, Ra'u, as we talked about. But here's the exact quote. Rashi says that Ra'ut Ruach, broken. It doesn't work. Okay? Now, question. Why is friend and broken the same word? What is krisus bris? And shchin is a female word, okay? These are three things. Why is Reah and Ra the same word? So we have to understand that through the concept of krisus bris. This is not in your notes, this you could write. This is from Daniel Barron, explains this beautifully. He says that, what does a bris do? A bris, when people make a bris, what are they doing? I don't even mean a bris milah. Let's say a bris, a covenant between two people. We'll get to bris milah soon. What are they really doing? Connecting, making a bond, an unbreakable bond. A bris is not a contract. A contract means I have my needs and you have yours, okay? I have goods to sell. I have potatoes. You need potatoes. So let's make a contract. I'm going to take 100 pounds of potatoes. You're going to pay me for them. I'm going to put them on a ship. I'm going to send them to you, and then you're going to have them. Once you pay me for the 100 pounds of potatoes and I put them on the ship, I don't really care if the ship sinks, because I got my money. That's my business, okay? If you, yeah?
The word kara is corn.
No, kares, that's a different word. That's a kuf, That's a kaf resh. This is chaf. This is a different word, krisos.
Okay.
A kares, though, that's kara to tear. Kares is interesting, like it's cut off.
Right.
Cut off, so we're going to get there, okay? So, now, I have my interest, you have your interest, okay? If the potatoes arrive and you sent the check and I got the check and I lost it, it fell down down the gutter, down the sewer, it's not my problem. Everybody has their own interests. That's not a bris. A bris is we both have exactly the same interest in mind and we're partners. So why would you call a bonding like that krisos, a cutting apart? Okay? Why would you call it that? So it's a different type of thing. It's not the kore of tearing something. Krisos means like this. What is when people make a bris, it's very common. Two people love each other. They're not going to see each other for a year or 10 years. What do? What's like the symbolic thing to do? You give your beloved something precious to you, like half a locket, something you love, something precious that's yours, that's identified with you, and you give it to them so that they always have a part of you with them. When you make a bris, you cut a part of yourself, so to speak, that you identify with and you love, and you now put it in their hands, so they're always connected to you. Okay? So this is the concept of kores bris. So he says, this is the gra. The gra says the following: Ma inyan bris, adam sheyesh lo ohev kanafsho. You have someone you love like yourself. V'rotze shelo yifrosh mimeno. You don't want that person to part from you. Okay? Aval efshar, but it's impossible liot etzlo, to be one with them. You have to part. Okay? Think about what the gra is saying about Am Yisrael and Hashem, right? No sein lo davar shekol magamaso chukaso olav. He gives him something that he loves and identifies with, and he thinks about, and it's really a part of him. All his attention is on that thing. Vehein niksharim al yedei hadavar zeh, and they remain bonded through this transfer. Okay. Afal pisha no tel mimeno, even though he takes it from him. Hadavar mikol makon kol machshvat shamhu. It remains with the giver too. Remember we said that. Me'es and me'im, that Hashem gives us something but it remains with the giver, versus Hashem gives it and it's ours. Okay, we're not going to do that now, but this idea that you've given it but it's still 100% yours, and you want it to be with them, and because it's with them, they're always connected to you.
What about when Hashem blew into our...
Same thing.
And that's
Same
the
thing.
shofar.
Same
That's
thing.
the-
Same thing. Same thing. Same thing. That is Hashem blowing. The Zohar, the Gemara, the Kabbalah says Hashem blew from himself into us, and that's the neshama in us, and it remains with us, but it's still very much belongs to Hashem, and therefore there ensures the bond.
They hope that eventually they become one.
That's correct. Beautiful, Rachel. They hope, there's a hope absolutely that they'll be one again. We'll talk about that. V'zel lashon krisa shekoret mimeno davar hadavak lovanos, and he cuts from himself something to give to someone else. Okay? Now, and because of this transfer, they remain bonded. This bris he kesher shel hachayim. It's a connection of life. It's a connection. Kartenu brit im HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he says, we made a bris with Hashem. Interesting. This is a beautiful idea which I never heard, never thought of. Okay? When we made a bris with Hashem, we give Hashem something that's ours, and Hashem has it, and Hashem gives us something of His, and we have it. And we both are connected and hope, like Rachel said, to be one again. What does Hashem give us? What does Hashem give us that we are holding on to, and He wants it to eventually reunite us? And what do we give Hashem? So the remez, the secret to this is in bris milah. When we do bris milah on a child, on a male child, there's a siman on that part of their body which represents their future. Their future. Their life, their ongoing existence. We give Hashem, through the bris milah on a boy, we show Hashem, we devote our hemshech, our future, to you, and Hashem says, yes, and my future is in your hands.
So Jonathan Sachs wrote something last week, I don't know if you read it,
exactly on this. He said that Judaism is the only religion where there is a symbiotic relationship.
Correct, absolutely.
Where it's
We
not
eat
just
from the carbon to
dictation.
Hashem. That was the first time a people ate from a carbon to God, was the Jewish people. Like, that is
Every other
correct.
religion, he said, was like
Correct.
a dictation of what
Correct.
you should do
Correct.
and what you shouldn't do.
Correct.
But here, there's-
I'm going to repeat that again. It was very beautiful and very profound. When we, but this, Leah, exactly. With the bris milah on that part of a man's body, which represents their future, okay? We say this is devoted to you, b'kedusha, b'tara. Our future should be a continuation of our lives in devotion to you. We give you, Hashem, we pledge to you our future. We are connected to you by devoting our future to you. And Hashem says, yes, and I'm connected to you, Am Yisrael, because you have my future. I am giving you the fate of my future. Now, what does this mean? This is an idea, again, I've only seen Abba Moshe actually expressing it straight out like this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a world. Not that Hashem had to create the world this way, but Hashem created a world where He has put His future, in other words, the future ultimate ideal, that Mala Kol Ha'aretz De'as Hashem, the whole world will be filled with knowledge of Hashem, in our hands. We said this so many times, right? And so, although we're separated, the idea of separation is that it's broken. Something is removed. I don't have all of it. It's broken. But on the other hand, the idea of separation is also connected to the idea of reunion, of coming together. In the idea of bris, that we, and by the way, in Zechronos, we talk about Zecher HaBris, the bris Hashem made with the Jewish people. We live lives that are separate from Hashem. Okay? We feel as if we are independent entities. We always speak about this. And Hashem has given us this autonomy, this bechira chavshis, this sense of individuality, because Hashem wants the awareness and appreciation, emulation of Hashem to come from us. And so in a way we are broken, like the Teruah, we are not connected in a flow directly from Hashem. There's an individuality, there's a bit of a separation. That's how we feel as individuals. But really, the goal of it is, it starts with the continuum with Hashem, the chesed, and it ends with the reunion with Hashem. And in the middle, we are in a sense on our own, operating here as independent entities. And the goal of that separation is to be reunited. By the way, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah.
Sounds a little like death, though, no?
Not that type of separation. Let's look at it like this. Let's look at it like this. A child and parents. The first stage of existence is the womb, okay? In that stage, that is where subconsciously in every human being, and Hashem gives this to us as a mashal for what's really going on spiritually, okay? Just like humanity, Am Yisrael, every person experiences this. There's a beginning stage where you know you belong and you're part of, you don't have a self, okay? You are a continuation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the womb, that's the first Tekiah. But Hashem, the baby gets born. Hashem created a world where that's your foundation, but that's not the tachlis. The tachlis is we step out, and we step out of Shabbos, Sheishis Yemei Amasa, we have life. And in this life we feel like a child grows up, it separates, autonomous, individual, and harnesses all their kochos and does something unique that will be a source of kavod for Hashem. Okay? And in the end, when we successfully achieve that, we have now the capacity to be a source of the R, of the Hashem's love, Vayhi R. It comes from us. Hashem has allowed us to take His, so to speak, hemshech, His future, His fate, and we are the source of the R. Hashem, all of this that Hashem has done, that we become Hashem's partner, so that eventually we are reunited in that long Tekiah. We go back every Shabbos, back into the womb. That's the Olam HaEmes anyway. That's the next world anyway. We come there not as takers who just, like parts of God, but parts of Hashem who became almost like B'Tselem Elokim, creators like Hashem, a source of or like Hashem. We are re-enveloped in. Why Hashem set up the world this way, there's no ultimate answer without any human being understands why Hashem, but that's the way Hashem set up the world. So Hashem, we show Hashem our future, we give to you. It's devoted to you, and Hashem says, well, my future I've entrusted to you.
In this context, why only the males have this?
We're going to talk about it right now. Remember Shechina? Remember Shechina? Remember Shechina? Okay. We're about to get there. Shh. We're about to get there, okay? Shh. We're going to remember the word Shechina? We'll get there, okay? So the Medrash says, okay, I didn't quote, this is the Yalkut Shmoni Yeshayahu, I couldn't find it in English. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, what is this? I've put my future in your hands. He says, K'sha'atem edai ani kel. When you are my people, my congregation, then I am kel. Then I am known as God. K'sha'einatem edai, kavyachol eini kel. But if you're not, I'm not kel. I'm not God on high if you're not my people. In a way, Hashem's, as we always say, we always talk about it, but here's the Makoros. These are the sources. Okay? And this is Zek Keli Van Vehu. So actually what we're saying now is, if we put our future in Hashem's hands, Hashem says, well, my future is in your hands. I need you to ensure that in the end the world knows me. So actually Hashem needs something from us. Whenever we talk about receiving, Hashem made it that he needs something from us. Hashem made it. Whenever we talk about receiving, the quality of receiving, we always speak about the female. The Shechina dwells among us, but the Shechina is female. The Shechina is there to receive from us, to empower us, be side by side with us, so that we become the source of the kavod, of the light, of the or. Okay? And that is the ultimate, that's Hashem Sedabor, where he receives from us. That's the female part. Now, this whole arrangement is ultimately the greatest chesed. This is the greatest chesed. Remember we said chesed is inclusion? But inclusion, when you know you're included, there's nothing to do. It's only when you separate and you become a partner and then you come reunited and re-embraced where you appreciate that inclusion. A child in their parents' house, while they're still in the womb, so to speak, or in that young stage getting everything provided for them, they don't really appreciate it. Only when they go out and figure it out on their own, it takes decades and decades and decades, do they start to retroactively appreciate it. So we have the beginning, and that's how every child grows. Those are the stages. So this is a tremendous chesed that HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't just, Eino milvado, there's nothing but Hashem, but he didn't create us in a state where we don't have a self, we're just part of Hashem. He gave us the opportunity to be a source of chesed. By the way, we say this every day in davening, or Moshe said this all the time. Tov yatzar kavod lishmo. The ultimate tov is that Hashem created it that we could be a source of kavod for him, that we have this role to play. Now, why it has to be like this, in the end, is beyond the human comprehension, but Hashem set it up. The ultimate chesed is that human beings have Hashem's hemshech, his future, in our hands. We have a role to play. So here's what he says: Afal pisha Kadosh Baruch Hu hayayachol livro olam shebo eino tzorech lebnei adam. He could have created a world that has no need for us. We don't have to be the source of his kavod. Gazera chachmato livro marechet shenikra kavod. He created a whole marechet, what's marechet? Framework that is called kavod. And the mashal, we know the mashal. A parent can do everything for the child. Is this the case normally? A parent feeds a child, bathes a child, takes a child to doctors, best schools, activities, to everything, dotes on the child, gives the child a perfect existence. And so it's common experience that a child that receives so much from their parent with so much love will never, ever, ever be chutzpahdik, right? Why? Chutzpah. No, they'll never be. No, never. Why? Of course. The fact is that when it's all coming to us and we don't earn it, we don't appreciate it. Kavod. Now, what if the parent says to the child, Look, I've done everything. I've built your whole world for you in the most perfect way. I demand kavod. What happens? I'll pay you $100 a week for kavod. I'll lock you in the closet if you don't give me kavod. You can't buy kavod. You can't threaten kavod. You can't beg for kavod. Kavod has to emerge from a separate and other person freely from their own understanding. And Hashem did that, gave us that mashal because that's how Hashem set up the world with us. everything we do with parents and children, everything that happens, it's just a mushal, so we understand a little bit about how Hashem is relating to us, what our relation with Hashem is. So that's the same thing. Hashem says, I'll do everything for you, but that won't guarantee any kavod. Not that Hashem needs kavod. This is fundamental. We become partners with Hashem, sources of or through appreciating Hashem. It's for us. It's never for Hashem. It's for us to become almost on the level. Hashem says, I've made you just a little bit lower than God. It's for us to achieve that. So of course Hashem could have created an alternate world, but this is the ultimate tov. This is the ultimate good. Tov, yatzar, kavod, lishmo. The ultimate tov is that He gives us a chance to be a source of kavod. So the person's tafkid is, to fulfill that role for themselves. That's the way to live. To be a source of the expansion, the hispashtus of the or of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now we get to Teruah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we said Teruah is Reah. It's a friend, and it's also Ra, broken. Bobby said in the beginning, and we kind of said it before, but to put it all together. The brokenness of the human being, that part that doesn't work, is the fact that the dangers that come, the ups, the downs, and there's the ups and downs, the downs that come from our forgetting this whole construct. Then we get disconnected, But there's another type of disconnection. There's a disconnection in order for reconnection, not a disconnection of forgetting. There's the disconnection like a parent. It's time for you to grow up, move out of the house, cook for yourself, choose your whatever courses you want to take in school, take care of your own home. There's a disconnection that's in order for reconnection. That's like the bris. I'm giving you a piece of myself to take with you. I'll always invest in you. I'll always be there for you. I'll always help you. You're taking my love, my devotion with you, but it's in order for you to emerge as a full-fledged adult, and then there'll be a much greater connection between the parent and the child. There's a limited opportunity for connection when the child is just a taker. And there's also limited, very limited, almost zero opportunity for the child to do anything, to be a creator, to contribute anything. So there has to be a separation where you take a part of me with you and I hold a part of you with me in order for there to be a reunion. So the ra'uah, the breaking, is for Reah. The Teruah shows that part of us, we blow, as we said, the Tekiah, which represents the original stage, where Hashem's Shekhinah flowed down to us and we connected, and that ideal state of man. Ideal state, moments in our history, moments in a person's individual history. Then comes the natural state of Teruah. It could either be a disconnection that's broken in a negative way, or it could be a disconnection that's healthy and empowering in a positive way. The disconnection that's positive is I'm striking it out on my own to contribute something, but I'm always going to come back every Shabbos back into the womb, Yom Kippur, Shabbos, I'm back. So it's a balance. Ra, the breaking, could be tov. Could be, it's an important part of it. 1 second, Deb.
Yeah, in Sheva Brachas, we're called Reah Mehuvim, and I say this to my clients, that we are supposed to be friends, but I'm thinking now from what you're saying, it also reminds us that we're two separate beings.
Right. Leah.
I feel that, and I could be wrong, I feel that, and I want to get clarity, one disconnection seems to me to be from Hashem, is disconnecting with us, like the parent telling the child, and the other disconnection is when we're
Very good. Very good. Hashem disconnects from us, so lets us be separate.
So
that could cause us to feel completely disconnected. We have to hold on to that paradigm, which is Jewish. We are given the freedom, but to find ourselves and become eventually partners with Hashem, not freedom to forget everything and go down all kinds of paths. So you're right. We have to handle the disconnection correctly.
There's two disconnections. What have you done for me lately? Thank you. Thank you.
And the thing is, there's a disconnection with security, with emunah, or disconnection when you're all alone. One is Ra, which is Reah, and one is Ra, which leads to Ra, which is ultimately going down paths that in the end don't work, and they will hopefully teach us what should work. 1 second, Javi, go ahead.
How does it translate? How does disconnection in a healthy way translate? Because we can. How do we discern it? Because sometimes it looks like we're connected. We have a religious practice that looks connected, but it doesn't really.
It's very easy to see if someone's connected. It's pashut.
But it's also subjective. Like somebody,
It's a connection is pashut. If a person has emunah, it's very simple. Emunah and bitachon. You know what is bitachon? Hine kel yeshuasi evtach lo evchad. If a person's not afraid, they know they're connected. I'm not afraid, as we said. Nobody's my provider. Nothing is controlling my life. Even if chas v'shalom there is a tzara, and the person on their journey encounters a very bitter patch. Bitter, not bad, not that it's bad and it shouldn't happen, but it's bitter, and it's from Hashem, and it's difficult. Okay? That still is part. It doesn't mean anything's changed. And therefore they endure the bitterness, but they know that they are completely connected to Hashem. And they know that somehow through this, there's a source of kavod shamayim. And therefore they can still bring the art to the world, even through the tzara, through the way they handle it, the way they react to it. We don't get to choose almost anything in our life. Not the good and not the bad, not anything. We talked about that too. So it's about how we react to it. And then a person is not afraid. We're all afraid that we're going to die, okay? Of course. We don't know when. It could be chas v'shalom, anything, right? But we're not, if a person, there's one type, okay, I'm scared, I don't know what it's like, it's the unknown. But fear that I'm alone and abandoned and going to nowhere and my life was useless, not that kind of fear. Fear that I don't know how it's going to feel, I don't know what it's like, but I'm not afraid. I'm going back into where I came from.
In our being, not having fear, but in a tefillah, I'm trying to, my computer isn't working so well this morning. It says that we fear God.
It says, in Shan Shabbos, we say, V'tein pachtecha.
Right.
It's very good. So this is very important. A beautiful, beautiful observation. In fact, let me answer with Rav Yasher Ber Soloveitchik's words. He met a psychologist, and it's actually Rosh Hashana. The psychologist said, everybody's beset with so many fears, and here in your Rosh Hashanah Machzor, you're encouraging that. Tein pachtecha kol ha'amim. What is this? So Rav Yasher Ber said, no. There's only one type of fear that eliminates all other fears. And that's Yiras Shamayim. So it's okay. So the idea here is this now. We give, the male is always associated with the giver. We are a source of Hashem's kavod. That's the way Hashem set up the world. That's how we give. When Hashem receives it, Hashem is in the role of the female, of the Shechina, of receiving it. The male and the female have to be together, obviously. That's the way it's and spiritually, and the mashal is physically. The union between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Klal Yisrael, okay, is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu kavyachol, and no one talks like this, except for Moshe, I'm telling you, Mekabel HaKavod v'Hamalchut me'itanu. He gets it from us. V'zehu biyor truat melech. This is the definition of truat melech. Shezuhi hareyut. This is the love and the companionship and the friendship. Haba mizeh, it comes from this, that we are mamlich Hashem on Rosh Hashana. We acknowledge Hashem as melech. Upoel yotze mizehu shakadosh baruch hu shochem banu. And what happens from that is Hashem dwells among us. That's the union. That's the truah. When we blow the shofar, that's truat melech. That's Hashem's companionship with us, because there's a flow between us. There's a symbiosis. There's a give and a take. There's a separation to reunite. That's the truah. That broken part, okay, in the middle, that represents our life. It could be broken in the wrong way, and it could be broken in a healthy way. Now, breaking in a healthy way is Yetzer HaTov. Breaking in the wrong way is Yetzer Hara. Either way, it ends in Teruah. Either way, it ends in Teruah. Because we're here, right? Even in the 6 days of the week that we feel our individuality and our separation, the secret is we're still in the womb, right? This is Hashem's world. But we experience ourselves. In the end, it all ends in the Teruah. And when it ends in the Teruah, either here in this world or in the next, in other words, every single person goes back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's a Medrash in Naso that says, Ein Adam Niftar Min Ha'olam. No human being, good or bad, Jew or not Jew, anyone. Ein Adam Niftar Min Ha'olam. Nobody is niftar from this world until they see the Shekhinah. Which means it becomes apparent that we're part of Hashem. And Hashem is in a relation, connected with us, we're connected with Hashem. And then that dawning moment of clarity, then the person either appreciates how they understood it and they knew it and they trusted it and they did the mitzvahs and all, or how they were so blind to that their whole time. They thought they were so independent and forgot all about Hashem. In the end, it all goes back to the Teruah. So that is why, and I'm going to end here and take your questions. It's called, by the way, for the Jew, Yom Tov, Rosh Hashana. One second before you leave, I have an announcement. It's called Rosh Hashana for the whole world, but it's Yom Tov Shel Rosh Hashana for Am Yisrael. It's guaranteed to be a Yom Tov. Tamar Center, my beautiful niece, is selling Uncle Danny's homemade local honey, which is very, very, very healthy to have local honey because it has the local pollens, which are very good for the local immunizations. And different delicious flavors. L'kavod Rosh Hashanah. Uncle Danny has beehives, and among other things, many other things. And here's Tamar Center Gluck over there by the door. If you want to buy a beautiful gift for Rosh Hashanah for anyone, she has them available. And they can also be ordered. Right, Tamar? Okay. Question.